So this is Club Wyndham, Long Wharf. They have some sort of movie theater. And then this is the entranceway. You can bring your luggage cart. And this one has an elevator. Here we are on the 4th floor, unit 488. This is again Wyndham Long Wharf. Quite nice looking in here. We've got a easier walk-in shower, bathroom. We have the AC set pretty cool. 2 single beds. Could have been better, but make it work. I don't hate it. Nice living room, which I do think is bigger than it was at Holiday Vacations Club. We've got our kitchen here. Yep. Oven, full fridge. Dishwasher sniff. Smells pretty normal. What do we got? Catherine likes to know. We are turning on the ice machine, but they have an ice machine in their fridge. My favorite kind of setup. Here's the main room with a king-size bed, absolutely huge. We have got the window here right to the pool. You can see a gazebo. We have easy access to the pool here. I haven't looked for the other things. I did see the movie theater come in. You can see over there, right out the window here, you can see some of the wharf and then out to all the boats going out into the inlet or bay or whatever it is. And then here we are, the main bathroom. It's also quite good. And a regular tub going in here is very nice. So I'm going to say this is, on first look, one of Wyndham's higher quality properties. Yeah, pretty nice so far. Okay, one thing I have not found yet, and I'm not sure if they have it in here, is in-unit laundry. So that could be a bit of a pain in the patoot. Here we are in the living room. We get a view of the pool and the gazebos and stuff. And this area is pretty busy. Newport, Rhode Island in the middle of June. Not quite, I don't think, completely slammed because the elementary school and the high school kids are not out yet. So looking closer, setting up my workstation here. The kitchen table has space here, and there is a plug right there so you can get the power set up. So that's good. Okay, so one of the downsides, the Wyndham Long Wharf, one of the issues I've noticed is that their counter space and stuff is quite small in comparison to most of the other ones I've been where they'll have a wider counter. So you can see, you know, I'm a guy, and you can see I'm filling it up with my razor, you know, my brush, some extra soap, the tissues over here. You know, now imagine some amount of things that women want to use. My sister has complained, you know, that some of these smaller spaces don't give you enough space to really set up what you need in the bathroom. And if it's affecting me, where I don't have that much, you know, I got a hairbrush and a comb, the tissues that, you know, that were here, they're soap things, and now I'm basically out of space with my razor. Yeah, I can see that could be an issue for some people. That this is it, you know, it's not that big an area. Now I'm in this room by myself, so I can kind of put some of my stuff on this side. I can set up my CPAP here and my charger and power for the CPAP, because I do have to point out our power plug here was dead. And I'm not gonna really knock Wyndham too much about this. I've had problems with the on-lamp power in a lot of Hilton hotels, a bunch of places, but thank goodness, you know, I brought my my power strip so I could actually go back to the actual wall plug down in there and actually be able to run my medical equipment and charge my phone and stuff. But as I said, this is okay for one person. If you had two people in here, one in each bed, this would get incredibly crowded, I think. Again, it's one of those things where I'm not even putting like, a book or something like old school. It's literally the basic things you need. I had to push their clock out of the way, kind of in the back, again, just to be able to like set my cell phone there for charging at night. They do have a lot of this, weird closet space. I'm just drying off one of my towels in here. Again, it's basically, this whole thing is basically taken up by the TV. I put my water bottle here, and then a couple books that I did bring to read, and I'm out of counter space. So one other thing that I should mention is, in comparison to a bunch of the places recently where I've ragged on the beds, that would be the Hilton Home 2 Suites, that would be Oak and Spruce, Jackson Gore Inn, 3 places I've been recently. The beds, I wanted to bring my own foam overlay, as I said, and that is not a problem here at the Wyndham Long Wharf in Newport. These beds are incredibly comfortable. In fact, it was kind of a problem. I slept in today. I didn't even realize how late it was getting, because previously on the other beds, they were so marginal that I would wake up relatively early. Here, 10 a.m., did not even begin to wake up, and I was like, I see what time it is, because it's so comfortable, so nice. I think that can make up for a lot of things, right? Like, the primary thing that you're looking for when you're getting accommodations, in my mind, is a place to sleep. So you get that right, and that can put you ahead of a lot of places that, for reasons that completely escape me, do not focus on keeping their beds quality. Now, that out of the way, I'm going to point out a problem. I had this at the Wyndham Nashville also. This secondary bedroom, the door doesn't really latch. It doesn't, press that, doesn't matter. It doesn't latch, it sits there okay, but, you can't, it's not really positively latched. I don't know why that becomes a thing for Wyndhams. I don't think I've had that happen anywhere else. Obviously, it's something to do with the door jamb being out of alignment. I unscrewed these, and I tried to adjust them as much as I could before I ended up needing to get a chisel and really go to town on the wood, and I couldn't get it to move enough for this to successfully latch. And you're not going to pull it. It's not like you need to push harder. The other negative I noticed here, I'm not sure if it's really running full out right now, it's not. But for some reason, right here is the air handler and the AC for the entire unit. And when it really kicks on, it is loud. Have to talk up and over loud when anywhere in the unit, right? It's here in the center. You hear it in the secondary bedroom. It is quite noticeable, obviously, in the living room, kitchen area. So that's going to potentially be challenging for if I have Zoom meetings at work or something, where about the only place I can set up is, again, over here on the kitchen table. This is fine. But that air handling noise was surprising last night. And I'll see if I can get it sometime when it's really going to town, and it just is, basically like running a mid-noisy vacuum cleaner. It's relatively noticeable and loud, unfortunately. Speaking of noise, this is something I also experienced at other Club Wyndhams, especially Palmair, which is that they don't have noise isolation. If somebody's talking a couple units down, if they're kids screaming, shouting, whatever, people are just kind of talking loudly, walking down the hallway, people opening and closing their doors, obviously within the unit, you just hear a lot of it. You really need your headphones playing music at night to drown out some of that stuff. I was hearing loud noises. Granted, it was Friday night, but up until midnight, and I don't think anybody was intentionally being ridiculous, right? They just had their TV on, or they were going through the hallway, opening, closing their unit door. It wouldn't be anything that I would go and complain, right, about the people. And I don't know, most other places I've been other than Wyndham's are not as bad. At Oak and Spruce, you could maybe hear somebody walking by in front, but That was like if you were in the secondary bedroom right under the windows that were right up against the walkway outside. I don't know. It seems to be like a Wyndham build thing. They don't put in noise insulation or something that most other places seem to, or I guess it's possible we're just usually not around other people when we're there. I mean, this place has more people here. It's kind of near the high season. There are actually people down there in the pool, at the pool. You know, you can see from our window. That's probably like the most amount of people since that I've gotten so far, you know, seen kind of in the pools. So there are people here, but on the other hand, it's not it's not swamped. I'm not seeing people like, you know, fighting that much over pool chairs or whatever. Although I do see most of them, you know, have somebody on them or do have a couple things on them. So maybe those are the infamous towel savers. I don't know. I don't really hang out at the pool that much, but just to give you an idea, the place is relatively full. So, you know, Jackson Gordon was basically empty when I was there, so maybe they would be as noisy too if they were really busy. I don't know. I'm going to kind of, I guess, bitch about is the extension of like counter space. Oh yeah, I mean, even just now, I don't know if you just heard that cut off the air handler, but even that is noticeably quieter, and it got louder when it was really going to town. But this has to be one of the most ridiculous, crazy coffee tables or whatever thing I have ever seen. It's almost worse than not having it. Like, if you didn't have something there, a lot of people I could imagine just wouldn't think about it. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily be sitting in any particular unit and say, there really ought to be a coffee table here. I mean, it's common for there to be a coffee table, but it just, like, it not being there wouldn't immediately have me being like, oh, where is that? The way that, like, say, laundry not being here has me being like, oh, I wonder where the laundry is. But with it there, then you're looking at it and you're like, that is ridiculously tiny. What is it useful for? I almost wonder if it's supposed to be like a very uncomfortable footrest because it's basically like the size of like an ottoman or something. I don't know. I think if I were Wyndham, this is one place where I would suggest to them, go bigger or don't do it. So if you want to save money, just take them out. Don't have them. You know, I can't imagine there's going to be that many people who would necessarily notice. If you feel you need a coffee table, though, I think it needs to be at least twice as big as that in length. Maybe just do like at least twice as big. I mean, it's just not really useful. And it just sat out in the center of the unit. Like, it looks more like a piece of, like I said, like an ottoman that got put in a weird place where you're not going to use it, or like a piece of exercise equipment. I don't know. Very strange. I don't want to give the impression that this is like horrible, because it's not. These are just things that, you know, you'll probably notice, and so it's worth pointing out. The couch is a debatable comfort, and what I mean by that is sitting in it itself, you know, isn't super uncomfortable. It's not like you sit on it. It's like you sat on a plank or it sinks way in and you're hitting springs or something. It's more the design. You know, this is like a sit up and almost like, you know, get like a little table you're going to work on kind of thing. If you want to watch the TV, so if you look here, this is me sitting here and I'm looking up at the TV, and you can see it's kind of up a little bit. So if you want to sit here and look at that TV, you're kind of cricking your neck with no support. And so that is pretty uncomfortable. You're either going to adding a pillow and bringing one out to like lift your neck up, or as you can see, you're going to be almost like just empty space here, and that's going to not be great for your neck. So as a couch goes, this is a fine couch. It's not a design that like my mom or I necessarily prefer, but it's a bad design for where they ended up mounting the television, in my opinion. If they brought the television down and kind of set it on top of that, I don't know what you'd call it, the boxy thing there. It's not really a TV stand, But if they had it at that level to where you'd be sitting, kind of straight like this, it'd probably be fine. You wouldn't be trying to like lift your neck up at an angle the whole time to watch it. So it's just a little bit like they didn't fully think about the implications. I think they probably bought the couch completely separate from when they bought the TV, completely separate from when they mounted the TV. So, I don't know. This isn't the be all or end all. Maybe you don't watch TV out here that much. I mean, I don't. I wouldn't care. Or you can get a pillow. But there are certainly other couches like the one at Oak and Spruce that was set up with the TV lower down and a slightly different design and was much more comfortable for TV watching. Finally, I should give some pros again. Really pretty happy so far with the fridge and freezer. And I mentioned, the ice machine is going to town. That's working pretty well. There's easy to fit stuff in here. I've said that before. The style of freezer I just think is much better. Okay, so this is their kind of sitting room that's next to their indoor pool and hot tub. So it's very humid, and I'm not really sure why you would want to sit here and watch TV, but this is a setup that they have. Okay, so this is the game room. Kind of like a mix of things. Not really an amazing arcade or anything. Kind of one of the gambling style machines, claw machines, air hockey, pool. It looks like a vending machine for knockoff Dippin' Dots. I might try one though. And then interestingly, an ATM, which I didn't really expect, and a change machine. So I'm wondering, I think these all still take coins. Okay, interesting that they are so far behind the Oak and Spruce, Massanutten, and other technology. So, unfortunately, it doesn't look like any of these games are for free. What does this say? 5. It's like $1 a game, maybe? That seems like a lot to me, but I don't know how much pool normally costs. So these are some of the amenities that they do have out for you in the check-in area, right past the concierge desk. There's a water bottle or water spout filter thing that is free, and then a paid Starbucks coffee maker there for you. But it's not in a great location. I wouldn't want to deal with check-in all the time. Huh. We have a little automated market here, right in the entranceway before registration. And registration is right through there. Got little campfire places next to the pool. Okay, it's pretty dark in here, so this is their movie theater setup, which is pretty neat. Got a nice projector up there, projecting on a big screen, like the Roku, I think. But yeah. Okay, so this is the fitness center, and apparently they have a yoga room, so I did manage to find something. It's kind of just a little thing overlooking the indoor pool and hot tub there. And then here we've got kind of, again, I don't know, some kind of exercise machines. This is elliptical stationary bikes, some treadmills, overlooking what I guess must also be the hot tub on the outdoor pool out here. So as we can see, and then they also have a thing which I saw somewhere else, which is this flow water 7-stage advanced purification. So you can get your free water here, and weights, pretty standardized basic fitness room. It's on the second floor. See, and there aren't really signs. I just happened to notice it walking through the pool area. So the signs don't show up until you get off the elevator at the second floor. So one of the things you could do in June in Newport was take a harbor cruise on an actual sailboat. Not like a small sailboat, but a bigger kind of sailing ship with a bunch of people on it. So it wasn't like going on to like a tiny little ship or anything. It's actually kind of impressive, the sail, but they also had like a little motor to get you far enough out so that they could then start sailing you around. And it was quite an experience. The price wasn't bad. I think we were able to find it for, $50 a person, something like that. It did 90-minute cruise. So if you wanted to actually experience a sailing ship or boat, I don't know what you call it, something the size, this is the first time in my life going out on a sail-powered ship, and it was quite interesting. As you can see, they've run it kind of, this part kind of very traditional. The people there on the crew are getting quite the workout lifting the sail up and everything. And so it was quite a different experience, because when you're under sail power, under the wind, you don't have the droning of a motor. There's no diesel smell or anything. It's almost silent, but yet if they know what they're doing, this ship gets moving pretty good. And up here, when they actually start getting all the sails up, it was also somewhat exciting and unexpected with the amount that the ship would lean from the wind catching the sails. And you can see here it just starts to kind of take the ship there and start pulling. So you can get some good speed when you're not tacking against the wind and you're just going with it. And it just starts going, and it was quite the experience. I definitely recommend it if you're all interested. They make it very safe and very easy, even for older people, so it's great fun. So one thing I do have to almost constantly knock Wyndham about is, while working or just hanging out, their internet is always a bit of a problem. Here it works okay while it's connected, but I have to re-go through the authentication, so the part where you put in your last name and your room number, at least 3 times a day, which is just ridiculous. I can understand needing to do it once when you first check in. I even can sort of get behind the, okay, it resets every day at noon, so that, I don't know, they know, you're actually only using it on days that you we're staying here, I guess, but there is no reason to need to relog in multiple times a day. I don't understand if it could somehow be related to using my wireless repeating router, which I just have over here on top of my little blue bag of spare timeshare stuff. It seems fine. We've used it at other Wyndhams and other locations with no problem. It's not getting screwed up, but it seems like Wyndham is just, every time you jump on the repeater with a new device, or just randomly during the day, you're still on your same phone, or you're on your computer, the same computer, it just, you just lose internet, everything pops up, warning, not online, and then you have to go and re-put in your name and your room number, hit OK, and then it's fine again for some indeterminate period of time, which is quite frustrating. And I can't come up with any reason why the Wyndham internet needs to be like this, or why they can't have it be like the Holiday Inn Club Vacations, Oak and Spruce. That internet was perfect the entire time. Just logged in. No jumping through any hoops. Or like the Hilton locations. Now I know mostly Hilton hotels, but I don't recall there being issues at Hilton Grand Vacations Club either. You log in once and you seem to be good for at least a couple days, which again is far more reasonable in my opinion. Okay, I finally found the laundry. Had to just hear about it from a forum post, and then I found a hidden QR code in the elevator that actually gives you all the information about this area. So they got 3 washers, 3 dryers, and yeah, worked fine. But I mean, it's basically like the Oak and Spruce, free to use, just not in your unit, which is so annoying. Okay, so here's the hot tub and one of the indoor pools. They do say on that QR code that there is a sauna here somewhere. I don't know where it would be. I was looking around and was pretty confused. I didn't see any indication of a sauna anywhere. Leaving the pool on the outside area, I did find inside the gazebo some nice places to sit, and I found where their grills are. So these are gas grill, is nicely set up. I didn't see anybody grilling, but I suppose you could definitely come here and grill and then sit inside this gazebo. It would be pretty nice. I will point out I had to redo audio on this because they were playing music everywhere, so I don't know how much light kind of easy listening music would affect you when you're outside, but they do seem to be always playing some kind of music. So it turns out the thing you get from the QR code is out of date and incorrect, and they no longer have a restaurant or a sauna here. So I didn't miss it hunting around for the sauna. There isn't one. Okay, unfortunately I didn't actually bring my wallet with me. I would have tried some mini melts just for fun probably, but anyway, the other thing that's happened that is incredibly annoying is the internet went out this morning, maybe last night. It's still out. It's getting on 1 o'clock. This is starting to remind me of Palmer a little bit, and I have ordered a Go Blinker, I think that's what it's called, or Glow Blinker or something, that you pay once and then you get like 2 gigabytes of free data a month. If you have an emergency situation like this, you can pay just then for more data. But unfortunately, after half a day of work, I'm afraid I'm running out of mobile data on my phone. And it's really only Wyndham. I can't think of other places I've been that have had internet problems the way Wyndham does, and basically everyone else doesn't have a problem. So, like I said, if you're here to use this as a base of operations, you don't really care that much whether the Wi-Fi is working or not, especially if you're not trying to like stream Netflix at night or something. If you're going out and about, doesn't really matter to you. It's more critical if you're trying to work remotely, or if you wanted to just be like in the resort for the whole day. Not having the internet, again, for your phone, your tablets, whatever, I imagine is a big deal for more than just people trying to work. So after all of these experiences that I've talked about here at the Club Wyndham along Wharf in Newport, Rhode Island, I have to say another one of those situations where there's a bunch of pluses and a bunch of minuses, a bunch of pros and cons to the location. I think in this case, the beds are doing a lot of heavy lifting, as it were, for my review. I think that, in the opposite of what I said for Oak and Spruce, you can forgive a lot of things if the value is there and the beds are great. And certainly we've been sleeping great. I really find the beds great. So I'm looking more at what's in the area, and you're pretty close to Bowers Wharf and a huge section of downtown, where there's a bunch of restaurants. There's the sailboat tour launches from there, and other boat tours. And you're minutes driving away from everything from a beach to all of the mansions, and a couple more minutes to get to like the Cliff Walk, or to get to the Ocean Drive. So a lot of things that are easy to get to from here, and a lot of things to do in the area. Plus, the resort does have some decent amenities. It's got the pools, the hot tubs. It does have a game room. Not the best, but you could play some pool there, or air hockey. And they also have a movie theater that you could go and use for free. It's missing some things, and there are some negatives, primarily the internet cutting in and out now. Sometimes there's been like 7 times a day having to sign up, so that's annoying. The problem with the noise from the HVAC system is quite noticeable, so it's not really a great place to kind of just hang out in the unit. It's not the best for working. It's acceptable, especially if you have good noise canceling on your microphones for work, or you turn off the HVAC when you're in a Zoom meeting. And also the fact that it's not very well noise isolated, so you will hear people in the hallway and stuff like that. So it's not a place where you necessarily want to come and just stay at the resort. I mean, you could have fun at the pools. I saw a lot of people doing that, spending time there and in the hot tubs. But it's not like you're going to go and do a lot of things like the skee ball, the mini golf. So I have to say, well, I didn't find the amenities to be the best and to my taste, and there were a number of pretty significant negatives that I had to talk about with the unit. The area and the beds and everything kind of bring me to a 7. So yeah, this is kind of the low end of the 7. I definitely would come back, but I would come here understanding that you're coming here to go around Newport and not to spend the time in the unit.